Oliver was born in a very small village and his family was extremely poor. Their house looked old and weak, as if it could fall apart at any time. The roof leaked whenever it rained. And in winter the cold wind entered through cracks in the walls. Inside the house there was only an old wooden table, 2 broken chairs, and a small bed where Oliver slept with his parents during very cold nights. Oliver's father worked as a laborer. Every morning before sunrise, he left home in search of work. Sometimes he carried bricks at construction sites, and sometimes he unloaded heavy boxes from trucks. The work was difficult, but the money was very little. Oliver's mother worked in rich people's houses. She cleaned floors, washed clothes, and cooked meals for families who never understood her struggles. Even after working all day, Oliver's parents could barely earn enough money to buy food. Some nights they ate only bread and soup. Other nights they drank water and slept hungry. But no matter how difficult life became, they always tried to keep a smile on their faces in front of Oliver. One evening, Oliver saw his father sitting quietly outside the house. His clothes were dirty, and his hands were covered with dust and cuts. Oliver slowly sat beside him and asked, "Dad, are you tired?" His father smiled weakly and replied, "A little, son." Then Oliver asked, "Will our life ever become better?" His father looked at the dark sky for a few seconds and said softly, "Yes, Oliver. Life changes for people who never stop trying." Those words stayed in Oliver's heart forever. At school, Oliver's life was not easy. His clothes were old and his shoes were torn. Some students laughed at him every day. "Look at Oliver's shoes. He looks like a beggar." The class often laughed loudly, but Oliver stayed silent. He felt hurt, but deep inside he promised himself that one day he would prove everyone wrong. Oliver loved English more than any other subject. Whenever he heard someone speaking English fluently, he became inspired. He believed English was the key to a better future. Every evening after school, he stood in front of an old mirror and practiced speaking English. "Hello, my name is Oliver. How are you? I want to become successful." At first, his pronunciation was poor. He made many mistakes and forgot words while speaking. Sometimes even his classmates laughed when he tried to speak English. But Oliver never gave up. He continued practicing every single day. One winter night, Oliver woke up because of loud coughing. He saw his father sitting on the bed, struggling to breathe. His mother looked worried. The next morning, his father was unable to go to work. Days passed, and the family's condition became worse. There was no money for medicine, rent, or food. Oliver knew he had to do something. Near his school, there was an old building where a caretaker was needed. The owner of the building was an elderly man named Mr. Robert. Oliver nervously went to meet him. Mr. Robert looked at the young boy and asked, "Can you really work?" Oliver replied respectfully, "Yes, sir. I can work hard." The old man noticed honesty in the boy's eyes and gave him the job. That was the beginning of Oliver's journey as a caretaker. Every morning before school, Oliver cleaned floors, swept dust, carried water buckets, and repaired broken furniture. After finishing work, he rushed to school. At night, he studied English and helped his mother at home. His life became extremely difficult. Sometimes he was so tired that he fell asleep while studying. But every time he wanted to quit, he remembered his parents' struggles. One evening, his mother saw cuts on his hands and tears filled her eyes. "You are too young for this kind of work," she said softly. Oliver smiled and replied, "I am doing this for our future." Mr. Robert slowly became fond of Oliver because of his hard-working nature. One day, he saw Oliver reading an old newspaper and trying to understand English words. "You like English?" Mr. Robert asked. "Yes, sir," Oliver replied shyly. "I want to speak fluent English one day." The old man smiled and brought an old grammar book from his shelf. "This book helped me when I was young," he said. "Now it's yours." Oliver held the book carefully like a treasure. That night he read the book for hours under a weak yellow light. Every day he learned new words. Confidence. Opportunity. Success. Determination. He wrote those words in a notebook and repeated them again and again. Months passed, and Oliver's English slowly improved. His teacher noticed the change and once said in class, "Oliver, your English is becoming very good." That small compliment gave him confidence. Meanwhile, life at home remained difficult. His father's health was weak. But he still tried to work whenever possible. Oliver's mother continued cleaning houses despite constant body pain.